Yeah, good day. Welcome to Introduction to Chemistry Practical with Tutor John O. Yes, I decided to quickly, swap to the practical section of chemistry due to the WAEC and ECHO that is around the corner. This is towards April ending. By next month, May, the exam should commence proper. The timetables are already out, and then the instruction to practicals will soon be rolled out. So, and then this aspect quickly for chemistry students, majorly, they find it difficult, especially when it is a redox titration aspect of chemistry. There are three major aspects of chemistry, practicals. We have the titration, which is the volumetric analysis, and then we have the salt analysis. The salt analysis where you test for cation, anion, conformation test, and the likes, or precipitation test. Those are salt analysis. And the third aspect is the separation techniques aspect, which covers the both aspects of chemistry. And like I do tell my students, practical is 50%, 50 marks. And when you already have 50 marks in your exams through practicals, that's CCs, the last credit. So if you have theory and objective to add, you are sure of B2, worst case scenario, or A1 in your chemistry WAEC examination or NECO, as the case may be. So quickly, I'll just be introducing this to us. Some part of the titration. Here we have the burettes, which hold the acid in most cases, or the titrant. So the titrant is usually in the conical flask or the beaker. Then you have the indicator, which determines the endpoint, which helps to determine the endpoint. In most cases, if it is an acid-based titration, we use phenolphthalein or methyl orange in most cases. But if it is a redox titration between probably KMnO4 and iron sulfate, or iodine solution and the reducing agent, we use either starch solution as the indicator. That is the blue-black reaction. Now, moving forward, having explained that, I will just quickly show us how you run through your rates for titration practicals. You load the acid a little bit above the 0 mark. Then you ensure to zero you measure the zero. The meniscus line has to be on the mark 0. You don't bend. You make sure it is on the eye level. You can adjust your burette if you are a short person or average height or tall. You can adjust your burette to ensure that you are seeing it straight. Then, having done that, you add your indicator, as the case may be, that phenolphthalein or methyl orange, into you must have pipetted. This is the pipette. It is already calibrated to the 25 ml mark. You just pipette the base and dispense into your conical flask. This is the rubber pipette, the dropper, if your methyl orange does not have a bottle like this, your indicator I mean, and then you are good to go to start titrating. Then you titrate by swirling gradually until the end point is reached. The end point in an acid-based titration, it is a color change. If it is methyl orange, it is expected to turn pink. The last drop turns pink, and then if it is phenolphthalein, colorless is the end point, as the case may be, depending on what instruction you have. So in a situation where you don't have a pipette, you can use a measuring cylinder for your measurement, but it is advisable to use this because error has been minimized using this. So the error has been minimized using that. Quickly, on the second phase or aspect of the chemistry practical, this is a test tube rack. Here we have the test tubes that we use in carrying out the anion and the cation test, the precipitation test, such as burette test, the silver nitrate, barium chloride, distillation of anion, and the likes. So we have the test tube rack, the boiling tube, and the test tube we'll be using for such experiments. So in my next video, we'll be looking at that proper and then look at how you do some calculations on titration. So thank you if you're with me, and then stay tuned on to the next video. But please, you could reach out in your comment section for one-on-one classes, proper tutor, and calculations on the titrations and likely questions that do come out in WAEC over the years and NECO. So best of luck in your exams as you prepare ahead. Good day. Thank you.